So I was scrolling through Discord one day and Kinja, a loyal sub and an active member of the community, jokingly said that I should make a video about the secret mechanics in the game. And that got me thinking, this is actually pretty important for players when they are in RTA. So I started going in depth, finding some hidden mechanics that you probably didn't know existed. And after 3 days of researching, I found 2. That was not good enough. And I know Lilith Games has more than 2 hidden mechanics in this game that were never spoken about, but us as the player base have figured it out.
Apes! Together! Strong!
So I believe it was time. Time to put on my thinking cap. Not that cap. And then it hit me. I can just ask some of the sweatiest players in the game and I'm sure they can answer me.
Yeah, boy.
And so that was exactly what I did, and lo and behold, hidden mechanics they found started pouring in. Truth be told, it was kind of overwhelming, but I persevered and pinched out the key mechanics that I think will help you guys out. So make sure you give this video a like to show appreciation for the hard work that these sweaty players have done, and shout out to the boys who helped me, Doug is a cat, Manny, and Gabro. And now, let's jump into the 8 key hidden mechanics that you didn't know about. What do I mean by this? Basically, if there is damage inflicted on the opponent by a debuff landed by your Espers, you will be able to trigger certain Espers' ability to use their passive abilities. For example, pairing Genie with Raven means that your opponent takes reflect damage from Genie, and it will proc Raven's S2 to pursuit attack. If your opponent suffers a damage over time debuff like Bleed, and they have Yuntron's third Eye Seal debuff on them, you will trigger Yuntron to summon his dog to bite your ass. Let's be real for a hot minute here. We all know how much of a fucking pain it is to deal with Hyde only because it's the gold standard to build Hyde and make sure he is on Avatara. So the critical question here is, why? Well, the answer is simple. Because his S1 steals buff, reduces max HP, and hurts like a motherfucker. So if we explore this further, we can abuse Avatara on everybody's favorite game mechanic, extra turn. That's right, unit that has a chance to get an extra turn on their S1 have a chance to completely ruin your turn cycle and steal the turn. Ira, R6 Valeria, and Taylor are classic examples of Espers who can suddenly turn the tables in a fight just because they have a chance to steal the turn and move when they're not supposed to. But of course, we cannot forget another mechanic in the game called Pursuit Attack. You wanna know what are the most annoying Espers that can abuse this mechanic? The Tank Brothers. Here's a little clip of showing what the fuck happens when you proc Avatara into a Pursuit Attack. While we are still on the topic of abusing Avatara, I think it would also benefit to know that positions matter. If you didn't know, it goes from leader, then left to right, just like this. This is a hidden mechanic abused by top players, especially when we set up our teams in Knockout. Ever wondered why a lot of us top players put Jin Yu Yao at the end? Well, now you do. We all know there are units in this game whose skills or passive allows them to use their S2 and S3 when the correct conditions are met and triggered. Espers like Ollie who can cast his S3 if an Esper dies, or Everett who can use his S2 as a counter attack. So knowing this, putting Silence and Taunt on them prevents them from using their passive because both Silence and Taunt restrict them from using any other skills except the basic attack. So you can very easily apply Taunt or Silence on Ollie and he will never save an Esper, or slap those debuffs on Everett and go to town on him with no chance of him retaliating. As we know, Panic Gaze is one hell of a debuff to land on your opponent, and we usually try to kill an Esper to extend skill cooldowns on their entire team. However, this is not the case when Cecilia dies with Panic Gaze on her, because before she dies, she fully cleanses herself of debuffs, so Panic Gaze will not trigger. Keep this in mind the next time you plan your attacks. I think this is something everyone should know, but don't. So I find it important to put it in here. Just like what the headline states, silver debuffs cannot be stolen, transferred, resisted, and will still apply even on a miss. The best example is Jinhee's Dizzy Days landing on an Inferno unit even on a miss. So TLDR, don't sleep on Jinhee's Dizzy Days. Your 100 resist Clara is still dizzy after taking a baseball to the face. I mentioned this before in my Leora video, but it appears people have not seen it or simply forgotten. You can check that full video out here, or link is in the descriptions down below. But now that Taiyi has been buffed to become the AP manipulation monster that she is now, I thought I'd reiterate it here. Standoff buffs makes you immune to AP manipulation. There, you're welcome. Yes, you read that right. This game calculates speed down to the decimal point. We can both have the same speed, but if I'm 0.1 speed faster than you, I move first. To prove my point, let's take a look at the picture right here. As you can see, both Taiyi and Nuwa has the same 138 speed. What the game doesn't show you is that there are decimal points to these units. TA's speed is 138.75 and Nuwa's speed is 138.25, and because of that, Taiyi moves first as seen here. But what happens when you put Windset on them? Then the story changes. With Windset, both Taiyi and Nuwa gets an even 164.5 speed. So who moved first, you ask? Well, I'm glad you did. If both Espers have the same speed, then the unit closest to the leader's position moves first. For example, you can see here that Nuwa and Taiyi both have Windsets on, and for this instance we are using Ollie as the speed leader. Both Nuwa and Taiyi have 164.5 speed, but because Taiyi is closer to the leader, she moves first. Flip that around and put Nuwa closer to the leader, and Nuwa will move first. So, to sum it up, at same integer speed, the game considers decimal speed points first, then positioning in case same decimal speed points. And there you have it. We know that RTA is coming, so knowing these hidden mechanics will actually benefit you when planning out your drafts. And I've talked about the different type of playstyles out there which can benefit from knowing these hidden mechanics. So check out this playlist where I go in depth about each playstyle, and I'll see you there.